It terrifies the weak, threatens mediocrity, and dares the impossible. Let me ask you one thing. Do you want to be remembered or just respected? Because the people who terrify the world with their mind, they're not just respected. They're legendary. Stay with me, because by the end of this speech, you're going to learn how to build that kind of mind. The mind is a battlefield, and every victory you will ever experience in life begins there. Most people walk around as prisoners of their own thoughts, imprisoned by doubt, paralyzed by fear, chained to the opinions of others. But those who rise, those who dominate, have learned the art of internal warfare. They've mastered their inner world to such a level that the external world has no choice but to conform. The truth is simple and terrifying. If you do not rule your thoughts will rule you. And when they rule you, they don't just whisper, they dictate every decision you make, every opportunity you miss, and every limitation you accept. A strong mind doesn't beg for motivation, it generates it. It doesn't look for comfort, it seeks clarity. And it doesn't flinch. When challenged, it thrives under pressure. Napoleon Hill knew this. That's why he said, "You become what you think about." But most people miss the weight of that statement. He didn't say you become what you work toward or what you wish for. He said you become what you think about, because your thoughts are the blueprint of your reality. If you constantly think small, you live small. If you think weak, you act weak. But when you train your mind to think powerfully, to choose thoughts that are aligned with vision, not fear, that's when you become dangerous. Imagine walking into every room with absolute mental control. You don't absorb the fear of the crowd, you shift it. You don't need permission to succeed, you expect it. That's what a strong mind looks like. It's not just about being positive. It's about being intentional. It's about catching weak thoughts before they become patterns. It's about replacing excuses with actions and distractions with discipline. It's about being so aware of your mental environment that nothing can creep in and sabotage your progress. Think of your mind as the command center of your life. Every choice you make is an output of the beliefs stored in that command center. If those beliefs are rooted in strength, courage, clarity, and discipline, then your life begins to reflect those qualities. People notice. They feel it when they talk to you. They hear it in your tone. They sense it in your energy. A strong mind is intimidating not because it's loud, but because it's focused. It doesn't chase approval. It doesn't crumble under failure. It doesn't react emotionally to everything. It responds with intention. That kind of mind is rare. And what's rare becomes powerful. What's powerful becomes feared. And that is how you build a mind so strong it terrifies people. Not because you intend to scare them, but because your strength exposes their weakness. And that alone is enough to shake the room. That's the power of definiteness of purpose, something Napoleon Hill emphasized as the foundation of success. Without it, you're scattered, just another face in the crowd. But with it, you become a force. Think about it. How many people do you know who truly know what they want in life? Not vague dreams, not borrowed ambitions, but a clear, definite purpose that guides every step they take. Almost none. And that's why people who have it stand out. It's not just ambition, it's clarity, intensity, and focus, all working in perfect alignment. It's scary to those who live without direction because it exposes their lack of it. It shows them what they're missing. And nothing terrifies a person more than being confronted with what they could have been. A definite purpose makes you move differently. It changes how you speak, how you use your time, how you think. You stop engaging in pointless debates. You stop entertaining people who waste your energy. You stop drifting. Every move you make becomes intentional because you're not guessing anymore, you're executing. That level of certainty is magnetic, but it's also intimidating. People will misunderstand it. They'll call it arrogance, obsession, even madness, but that's only because they can't relate to it. They never lived with that level of mental fire, and fire always makes people nervous. When your life has a purpose, failure becomes data. Setbacks become lessons. Discomfort becomes a tool. You begin to see life differently. You no longer fear obstacles because you know where you're going, and when you know where you're going, the path may shift, but the destination doesn't. That makes you dangerous because you become someone who can't be derailed. You become someone who can lose and still stay on track. That kind of mental alignment is rare, and in a world addicted to distraction, it's terrifying. The truth is, most people fear what they can't control, and they can't control a mind with purpose. A focused mind doesn't get caught in drama. It doesn't fall into emotional traps. It doesn't need applause. It's too busy building, grinding, moving. That's what definiteness of purpose gives you a compass when everyone else is lost. And when you walk with that compass, people will feel the shift. They'll respect it, fear it, or try to sabotage it. But no matter what they do, they can't ignore it. Because nothing is more powerful or more terrifying than a mind that knows exactly what it's here to do. There's a certain kind of power that doesn't come from status, wealth, or loud declarations. It comes from belief. Not belief in an idea or a philosophy, but belief in yourself. And when that belief is so deeply ingrained that absolutely nothing can shake it, people start to feel it. Without saying a word, your presence announces itself. That's what Napoleon Hill meant when he spoke of faith, not as a religious term, but as a mental state. Faith in self is the invisible armor of the mentally strong. It's not built in a day. It's forged through repetition, self-discipline, and the refusal to back down when the odds are against you. Most people wait for permission to believe in themselves. They wait for proof, for applause, for validation. But the terrifying mind doesn't need any of that. It believes before the results come. It acts as if success is inevitable, and that certainty unnerves others. It raises questions in their own minds about why they doubt themselves, why they hesitate, why they haven't gone all in. That kind of self-belief is not normal. It's rare, and that rarity makes it intimidating. You see, people are more comfortable around certainty. They understand insecurity because they live with it. But confidence, true, internal, unshakable confidence is unfamiliar, even threatening. A person who truly believes in themselves doesn't compromise, doesn't flinch, doesn't ask for opinions when they already have a decision. That kind of conviction is a mirror, and when others look into it, they either get inspired or they retreat, because it reminds them of their excuses. It forces them to confront their own self-doubt, and most people aren't ready to do that. The terrifying mind doesn't scream its faith, it walks with it. Every move, every word, every risk taken without hesitation is a testament to that internal belief. And this isn't delusion. It's not arrogance. It's a mindset built on preparation, consistency, and truth. You've done the work. You've faced the failures. You've pushed through the days when no one saw the effort. So when you step up, it's not a performance, it's a confirmation of everything you already know to be true. You are built for this. You belong here. Napoleon Hill taught that you could induce this kind of faith through autosuggestion. That means programming your mind daily, speaking into yourself the beliefs you want to see become reality. Because eventually your subconscious stops resisting. It accepts it. And once that happens, the way you speak changes. The way you carry yourself changes. And the world responds. People don't fear you because you're loud, they fear you because you're certain. Certain of who you are. Certain of where you're going. Certain that no matter what comes your way, you're not backing down. That level of self-faith is not just powerful, it's terrifying. Persistence is the one trait that separates the average from the exceptional, the weak from the dangerous. When a mind refuses to quit, when it keeps showing up long after the excitement fades and the pain sets in, that's when people start to notice. That's when fear begins to build in the hearts of those who once doubted you, because persistence reveals something terrifying, that you won't stop. You can't be discouraged. You can't be broken. And that's a threat to every excuse-driven mind around you. Most people are only committed when it's convenient. They're motivated when it's easy, when the weather's good, when their emotions cooperate. But the mind built on persistence doesn't care about conditions. It cares about outcomes. It shows up whether it feels like it or not. It doesn't need permission, and it doesn't wait for perfect timing. Because it knows something most people don't. Every delay is a test. Every setback is a challenge. And every failure is just feedback. And if you don't quit, you can't lose. You can only learn and adapt. Napoleon Hill said that persistence is to character what carbon is to steel. It's what makes you unbreakable. You take a hit, you feel it, and then you keep moving. While others are stuck complaining or doubting themselves, you're already adjusting, strategizing, evolving. That's what terrifies people. Not that you succeed once, but that you keep coming back stronger after every loss. Because people can handle talent, they can accept luck. But they don't know how to deal with someone who refuses to go away. Persistence is not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet, consistent, and ruthless. It looks like early mornings when no one's watching. It looks like late nights filled with study, repetition, and sweat. It looks like doing the boring work that most people skip. And when that kind of effort compounds day after day, it turns into results. Real, undeniable results. And then the same people who laughed or ignored you now start to feel threatened, not by what you say, but by what you've become. A persistent mind becomes a force of nature. Not because it never feels pain, but because it never lets pain stop it. And once you adopt that mindset, everything changes. Obstacles shrink. Quitting becomes irrelevant. And failure, it becomes fuel. Every loss adds another layer of strength, another reason to keep going, another lesson to sharpen your edge. That's the terrifying part. You don't look like everyone else anymore. You operate on another level. You've chosen long-term gain over short-term comfort. And that kind of resolve, the kind that refuses to fold, that keeps grinding no matter what, that kind of persistence is rare. And what's rare is powerful. What's powerful is feared. So when your mind is forged in persistence, people won't know whether to admire you or avoid you. By Either way, they won't be able to ignore you. There is nothing more unsettling to the world than a person who stays calm when everything around them is falling apart. A person who doesn't flinch when they're provoked, who doesn't lose control when they're disrespected, who doesn't crack under pressure, that person has a mind built for domination. Emotional control is the final weapon of a terrifying mind, and it's often the most underestimated. While others are reacting to life, a strong mind responds. While the crowd gets loud, the dangerous individual gets quiet, focused, and deadly precise. That calmness is power. It's a kind of strength that makes people nervous because they can't read it, and they definitely can't manipulate it. Most people live on the edge of their emotions, ready to explode at any inconvenience, constantly triggered by opinions, setbacks, or other people's energy. But a strong mind doesn't allow emotions to dictate its direction. It feels everything, but it chooses what deserves a reaction. That choice is power. It's discipline. And discipline in the emotional realm is terrifying to those who are ruled by impulse. Napoleon Hill taught that self-mastery is the ultimate achievement. And the highest form of self-mastery is emotional control. When you don't let anger make your decisions, when fear doesn't stop your action, when doubt doesn't shrink your ambition, you become unstoppable. People don't expect that. They expect you to lash out, to get thrown off course, to engage in emotional warfare. But when you don't, when you just keep moving forward with focus and intent, you confuse them. You scare them. Because emotional detachment in high-stress moments is a skill most people don't have. And when they see it in you, they realize just how fragile their own mindset is. A terrifying mind isn't cold, it's composed. That composure under pressure, that stillness in the face of chaos, sends a message. You can't control me. You can't intimidate me. You can't shake me. That message alone disrupts the plans of anyone who hoped to see you lose control. Emotional control means you're not living life on accident. You're not a puppet pulled by every emotion that comes and goes. You're intentional, measured, and in command of yourself. And the truth is, when you can control yourself, you control the room. People look to the calmest person in the room for leadership. That calm is magnetic. It's quiet dominance. It doesn't need to raise its voice because its presence says everything. That's what a terrifying mind does. It doesn't react to pressure. It applies it. It doesn't feed off drama. It ends it. And it doesn't chase control. It is control. When your emotions no longer own you, nothing else can. That's the edge. That's the difference between being average and becoming someone people study, follow, and fear. Not because you intend to be feared, but because power, real, internal emotional power, cannot be ignored. Now you understand, a terrifying mind isn't built in noise, it's built in silence, in discipline, in the relentless pursuit of mastery over self. It doesn't scream for attention. It earns respect through results. It doesn't react, it responds. It doesn't follow trends, it sets them. The world fears what it cannot control, and nothing is more uncontrollable than a mind forged in clarity, faith, persistence, and emotional discipline. You don't need to intimidate people with force. Intimidate them with focus. Shake their comfort by staying calm in chaos. Break their assumptions by showing up again and again when most would have quit. Be the person who believes in themselves so completely that others begin to question their own limits. That's what it means to build a mind so strong it terrifies people. Because in the end, it's not your words, not your background, not your circumstances that define you, it's your mindset. And when your mindset is unshakable, when your vision is clear, when your belief is absolute, there is nothing this world can do to stop you. Be the storm they never saw coming. Be the standard they cannot reach. And above all, be the proof that power lives not in noise, but in mastery of the mind.